He is no longer one of us.
Yes, he dares to go against our objectives, just like the other one. Jova,
We can still activate the key.
Pedro,
Let's do something about the one who stands in our way. Let's eliminate pain.
Dej,
But we cannot stand up to his power.
That's...
Phoebs.
Only Cain could destroy Cain.
You, on the other hand, are trash.
So, Mother, will you do it for us?
Mother?
Maybe. Did Krellian say anything?
Hey, Mian,
Also,
can you
no,
tell your
it's
kids
a-
to cut it out? They're kind of messing around here.
It's not the movie because it doesn't have an exclamation point. Go ahead, Jova.
Something concerning the potential ability as a countervailing existence, with everything focusing towards a single goal point.
I see.
So, if you're the mother, Miang, who's the father?
Bakar is still shaken up by yesterday's defeat against Faye.
Ramsus, maybe?
It's just stop being in
Wait,
the corner.
Ramsus is the father? Oh my god, that's quite a twist.
We are almost ready. I need just a little bit more time.
That was Richard's, writing a square.
Yeah,
I
there's a
swear,
clue.
I'm almost ready. Just need one extra day.
And we'll wait.
We'll
wait till the time is ripe. So, we figured out now that Miang is the
Alright,
console's mother, Krellian, a countervailing existence, and Miang is
Someone
how many
needs a
people's
snooper.
mothers? That Miang, what's he up to? I had better warn the commander.
It's
You
okay.
little
Well, I'm-
snitch.
Wait,
It's
how
okay.
come Kane, wait, how come Kane just doesn't get rid of those guys?
He actually still needs them to actually work anyway.
Out of the
Go on,
way! Let me through, girl squad! That bastard. I'll hunt him out myself. Shouldn't it be hunt him down yourself, you mean?
Oh yeah, again, I didn't have time to proofread, okay? Please calm down, Commander. Look at Kevin and your friends.
What could you fools do? Imbeciles, only I can beat him! Only I, who transcends all of the humans, can possibly take him down!
And by transcending, I mean I'm trash.
Move! Wait, Commander! I was just about to tell you something important!
Pulled someone away.
Did it?
Alright,
Go on.
Cheer, this next oration is yours, as far as you can go.
While Faye and the others searched for the resting place of the last known Anima Relic, I temporarily returned to Nisan. I don't know why I went back. I had this stirring within my heart that some danger was awaiting the people there.
You know what, though, Ellie? Open your heart and it will be alright.
Elohim senses our team
You and I-
going,
You and I have our own styles and we won't change.
All the people accepted into Nisan were on the road to recovery. There were still those who were not able to completely recover, but Tor's nanomachines continue to evolve from day to day. Thanks to the nanomachines, their treatments were becoming more and more successful, and the day when everyone would regain their original bodily form was approaching.
Oh, that
Yay.
sounds nice. There's a but, isn't there?
obviously. Again, Jova, never this simple.
Indeed. Alright.
Alright, go ahead.
There was a sudden explosion in the city of Nisan. Within the burning fire stood a gold army gear. He was Ramsus. He assaulted Nisan so that he could defeat Faye. His purpose of existing was at stake.
Faye, come out and fight me so I can prove
You got it.
myself!
You got issues,
shit.
dude.
Oh, shut up, you piece of trash.
Sorry, no comments from the peanut gallery, please. Also, stick to your part of the script.
My gear's bigger than yours, me.
And it's
Ooh.
golden, too!
Maybe
not
some
Wow,
convention
overcompensating much?
something. Ooh.
I didn't choose it. It chose me as part of destiny.
The Nisan and Shivat militia, even rank and friends from Solaris who now serve to protect Nisan, could not thwart the assault. Maybe we should ask Miang to see if she could tell us if it was good or not.
Also, yes, the Gambler Goobers reappear here.
Oh,
after
and they're good
you
guys
probably
now.
forgot. Yeah, again, you can clearly tell they were supposed to do something else, like for example with the soiling system, but unfortunately they were part of a cutting floor.
The people were
yeah.
evacuated into the cathedral, continuing to search for Faye. Ramsus put the militia to rout and pressed on toward the cathedral. He was ruined. He had his mind set solely on getting at Faye. I stood before him.
Which was
More
kind of
than-
stupid
more
because
than-
he's in a gear and I'm just on my lonesome here so he could squash me.
Also, Joe, what you're saying is that they do still have dialogue in importance in the plot, but you can tell with the sections they were in were supposed to be, actually be more properly explained.
Well,
So it's
yeah,
like,
I mean, that's kind of how a heel-face turn tends to work. Where?
So it's like Blade Beak in Quest for Camelot.
Where is he? I know it. He's here. Why does he not come out, the weakling?
Faye, please stand up.
I love that shrug.
Ramsus, the Fae you seek is not here.
I'm sorry, Ramsus, but you're facing another
What, is
castle.
this, what, is this a panther? It's like a panther.
She even does the same
Basically.
shrug as the toads.
So please, stop this meaningless violence.
Come on, Ramsus. Is this really necessary?
I could just hear it now. Faye's not here. Oh yes, he is.
You.
Oh no, he is.
Yes, you will do as perfect
Oh,
bait for
okay,
my
you know
Do
what?
I have
Wait,
to take the trash
Give up
out?
at this point.
Okay, you know
So-
what? You know what? Just for that remark, I am going to very much squeeze the life out of you. Come out, Faye! If you will not come out, I will crush Alaham!
Let me get this straight. Ramsus managed to somehow imprison Ellie, like somehow.
I think it's
without
more so
even
he's
knowing.
grasping
look at
her
the
with the
image,
Omni
he
gear.
just grabbed her with the,
Okay then.
Also, Margie's here too.
Tips?
I've always
Boss.
said it.
Also, they're wearing helmets now.
Keep back, the projector's very bright.
Remember, Drova, even in the previous, scenes they were involved in Act 2, they still had those helmets on.
I recall them actually having the helmets off at some point
No,
in the
it's just the
overfield.
portraits. So.
It's been a while since we've seen them. Then from tonight on, you will be crying with this woman's dead body in your arms!
Oh no.
Now I'm going to take out the trash. How the... What happened? Why can't I move?
That should be funny. Trash taking out trash.
Damn you, Medusa! Are you okay?
That's all I can say now.
How could I... To the likes of you... No, not only to him, but I am also inferior to you, me,
You got
myself.
issues, dude.
What happened to you, Ramses? Also, guys, I'm
Seriously.
fine. I'm just
Maybe
going
it
along
had
with
to
it.
do with my home city being burned to the ground.
You've always been inferior to everybody, my dude.
Why are you caught up with Faye so much?
He
Seriously, get
ruined
that
my
stick up.
life.
Nah, he
Yes.
likes him.
Seriously, get that stick off your ass. Like, seriously. it's getting ridiculous now.
Why
Well,
are you so
maybe
bothered
Cyclops
by who
needs
is
some
more
company.
superior?
Because
okay.
I was born from royalty and he's just a small farmer
No.
boy.
No one will have a bigger dick than mine!
I mean, I was originally created to be the integration of all human abilities.
Intrigation? Intrigation?
Yeah,
Whatever.
integration. To be able to align with all the Anima Relics. I was
right,
created
right.
to have the powers equivalent to those of Emperor Cain. So what are you, like
Sure,
a
sure.
clone of Cain? You could say I was to be the ideal form, which all people strive to
Oh.
become.
Shadow,
However,
you ain't.
Once he was
Oh,
born, I was rejected. I was given life in a pile of trash, down in the dark, cold abyss of worthlessness.
So he saw this Kane.
Yes.
Kinda.
How's that
yeah.
Faye's problem?
Ah, come now,
But
brother.
I was able to crawl out of there. I was able to survive on my own strength. And I got laid in order to get back at all those who have forsaken me. Despite all of that, I was able to get this far. I was able to provide myself with the warmth that I required to continue living. But he had to come and intervene in my life one more time. He tried to take that very warmth away from me again. As long as he exists, I don't belong anywhere.
I think I know why you are so fixated with Faye.
Only now you realize this, Ellie? We've been pouring our reasons. We got like 5 parts at this point.
Well, you know, the part that actually helps everyone, I guess.
All right, let's see what it is. Go on, Ellie. What is it?
You do not really know what you should be doing with your life right now.
Oh, so a midlife crisis.
Yeah, you're having a midlife crisis, and this teenage boy is making you unnecessarily angry.
Yeah, just chill, dude.
You know,
You fucking boomer.
you know, when Walt Disney had a midlife crisis, he just made Disneyland. Why can't you do something productive like that?
You're simply trying to protect yourself by attacking Faye.
When were
I think
you a
it's they would-
therapist?
By attacking others, you are confirming your own existence.
Seriously, seriously. Did you pee on the wall, Ramsus? No! Faye did it!
This is turning into an
I
episode.
like his face.
Why do I feel like this is turning into an episode of Dr. Phil?
Go on.
That's why you strive to be above everyone else. Like, he's the kind of person who has a picture of Faye he uses as a dartboard.
Yes.
Oh, because he doesn't know what to do with his life.
Because otherwise, he'd be enveloped by a void. Because you yourself will disappear.
So if I understand correctly, did Ellie, like, break free of his mech's arm or something? Like,
Yes, she used their hyper powers.
Huh.
No, remember, this is all just a stage show.
So the script says that she has to bust out at this part. Good, so far we have less injuries than Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark.
Because that emptiness within your heart will only grow. Because you want to hang on to love. Also, there are no actual therapists in this universe, so I'm
No.
the best this dude's got.
Yeah, remember, she's still the savior.
Silence! I already have love! Just ask Myung! Does she really love you, dude?
No.
That very warmth I finally obtained!
Ramsus, no one is attacking you.
You see, Ramsus, she was feeling like it, and you were there, so might as well. That's basically what happened.
Damn! So you're saying that was pity, sexy guts?
Yeah, I was about to
Yes.
mention pretty much. Which, mind you, you're laughing now, but it's gonna become creepy in just a couple of parts,
Man,
trust me.
Oh, great. Ugh. No one is trying to take what is so precious to you.
That's
I
just
am.
what somebody who would do say that.
Well, you're not helping. No one is threatening your existence.
The Portuguese in the audience is.
Existence is bogus.
I am. You kind of kill people.
It's all in the mind.
It
So,
isn't.
so don't hide the feelings that are in your heart.
Just kick,
Just
punch,
keep it
punch.
inside. Learn how to hide your feet.
Don't let it grow.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't fear love. That sounds like a 90s song.
What are you? I can't tell what you guys
Oh,
are singing.
snap! She literally just shattered his mind with that. You. Now you. Ah!
We will actually have a proper non-pantomime, proper cutscene that showcase actually how Ramsus'
And
Ramsus'
he
origin story. Trust me on that. He
disappeared.
basically fled away.
Fade to black.
I
Alright,
did
more
nothing.
narration.
Ramsus was in fear. He feared losing the place he belonged to. He feared that Faye was the one who would take it away from him. He believed love was something you take. He craved love more than anyone else.
If only he had
Crave love more than
somebody
anyone
here.
else.
So basically, this boils down to nobody ever hugged them enough.
Can anybody?
Unfortunately, yes.
find
But again, it will be more it will be
somebody
more apparent when we actually see his origin story.
love?
You are such
More
a bitch.
ministry
You know
time.
that?
This time with Ramsus and Young.
Very evil ministry.
This
Worthless.
trash. Pedro,
Reject.
like that.
Why even bother existing?
Please,
Be gone.
go fucked.
We have no use for you.
Pedro.
Ah, trash is more worth to us than you.
Yeah, just kick the guy while he's down. Why don't you?
Ratio plus gift bet.
Carl, don't worry. I'll always be by your side. No one knows you better than I do, so don't.
Why do I
Don't
not have the
what?
best sense
Don't.
of...
Don't be a
Faith
trash
in us.
loser.
Can somebody
Don't
please
yell
put
at my
them on
kids.
mute? Trust me, Myung, it's taking me all restraint not to yell at your kids. Myung, is this all I can do? Just take this from your crap kids up there? Is this the extent of my strength and abilities? I couldn't beat him. And in front of that woman, I couldn't even do a thing. Is this the limit of my existence? My abilities?
Whoop. Southern Krelian.
You're the same as Cain. Plain trash. An archetype that surpasses all humans. I made you in the same way. Dun, dun, dun. But he is the one who is preventing you from fully releasing your powers. Divided powers, that man was your original form. The primordial superior being.
Oh my god.
If you could defeat him, then you would be...
Beyond the original.
Yes.
Yes.
But I don't want to be yes.
Even with your superior constitution, the existence of the original being hinders you.
So I need to murder him, of course.
I mean,
Never mind
yes.
never mind the fact that I've been trying to do that for the last, I don't know, 12 parts of 20 parts more
Actually,
like.
I think they're
not
talking about
repaying to
Cain.
Faye. Yeah.
Yeah, for once, he was
Oh,
too
right.
fixated on killing the wrong person.
Ah, okay.
If you could eliminate the divided power, then it would all be yours. Don't you agree, Carl?
Do you promise that your kids will shut up about me then?
I can't promise any of that.
Whoop.
Do you know how hard it is to look after an entire school of
More of
children?
that. More of that actually later. For the time being, we have another Anima Relic to find.
Sure, Amy Adams makes it
Uh-huh.
look really easy.
Having completed the alignment of first Anima Relic with Billy, there was a remarkable change in the appearance and structure of Billy's gear.
So Omni Gear.
They were units that merged with the inorganic. Of course, we had no idea what purpose these ancient Anima Relics were created for, but the fact that they played some kind of role as weapons was blatantly obvious.
Of course.
Eventually, their true power will be released, and we cannot allow this power to fall into the hands of evil. In order to obtain the final relic, he headed for a ruin that is believed to be almost 10,000 years old, remains of a first civilization on our planet.
I do wonder something, but if now's not a good time, I'll ask
A
later.
reunion with an old friend awaited us.
So Tio, I'm curious about something.
Yeah?
Do you think if the game had been like this from the get-go, but had tried to even stuff out? Okay, say the game was sort of had these presentations every now and then, like they weren't as frequent, but say they were peppered throughout the game, essentially. Do you feel like that would have at least helped it feel more natural come Disc 2?
I agree. I think I'm
Potentially, but I will still, in that case, I potentially be more remarked about the fact that the game is more in love with the plot than anything. At least this one made me believe there was a genuine attempt to make a video game more than just telling a story.
I do get what you mean, but I do
see
want.
you again.
If you say done,
So I go on, Jova.
Okay, I do get the feeling, though, that if they had done it like this, maybe they could have played it up like this is like a theater retelling of sorts or whatnot. Like, obviously, I mean, have the theater telling be like the overlay, but then obviously the main plot stuff still happens in story. What I do wonder is if maybe they could have included a bit more of them in this one. Like, okay, maybe not to the point where it would feel like the game is definitely more in love with the story than it is the gameplay. But I'd say, like, enough so that it doesn't feel too jarring in Disc 2. Because, again, the story can still kind of be enjoyable. It's just that I feel like if you're not prepared for the sudden change in story here and there, I wouldn't blame you if you are put off by the sudden change in how the story is told.
I'm not with Joe on this one. I feel like if they pepper this and try to throughout the game, probably would have gone a bit better. That way, would have allowed for Disc 2 to have more proper elaborate cutscenes instead of just saving the narrations in pilots just for Disc 2. I feel like it was. I feel like trying to pepper. But then again, the development of this game was kind of a mess. So so it probably was one of those decisions that.
Oh yeah, like, it's probably a case where they probably could not have made it that way at that point in development.
No.
I'm just going about ways about how it could have potentially been done better. I will say this, though. I do feel like Kislev is something that maybe could have been let go from the get-go, seeing as how, even before we get towards the end of Disc 1, it feels like Kislev is just
Well, okay, again, Jova, wait, let me explain this first. This dungeon is, in another set of puzzle. In this case, for this first room, you're supposed to wait for 3 specific stones to drop, and you need to position yourself correctly in the room according to the hints that you get from the columns. For once, you may have to stand in a corner or in a border. Maybe you need to jump on top of one. Again, it's a small room, so you. Like any experiment, it takes you 5 minutes tops if you're not getting, anywhere potentially. But the hints should suffice enough. Also, another thing, because you might have noticed that this music clearly might not belong with the game. That's because the original dungeon doesn't really have a soundtrack. Actually, accompanying. It's actually very silent, and it just has the dripping sound of water from the ceiling. I did again. What I do, am fine with it. I thought that for sprucing things a bit up, I would put something that could potentially fit. This is actually a track from Alice, one of the Colosseum themes.
I wonder if this is a case where, maybe they did have a track in mind, but didn't have time to implement it or compose it for the temple.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Could be, could be not. Anyway, as for your remark, Jova, I don't think so, because we still, for the purpose of the game, we still need to establish the fact that Abe, as a competition, there is this never-ending war that, Solaris has been enforcing to keep the land dwellers at bay, So we do need both places, the quote-unquote evil empire and the good kingdom, traditionally fantasy stuff. Also to have the player believing that's the major conflict and there's nothing bigger, behind the scenes, at least for the time being. And the idea of the protagonist visiting both places under different circumstances is just, the ideal thing that has to happen. It's not the first case that is happening in an RPG, after all. It's just a matter of it should have been elaborated more, pure and simple.
I think the problem with Kislev in that regard is I feel like that's something that we could have covered even without having to spend as much time as we did in that city. Like, even you yourself admitted that Kislev can drag a bit.
That I do know, but what I mean is that, we should have still had scenes involving Kislev afterward, the ones that were summed up or cut away entirely.
Okay, when I say that we could have cut out the stuff involving Kislev, I don't mean, remove Kislev entirely, but more so, the stuff we did inside of Kislev really does not feel like it mattered all that much. I mean, granted, it mattered in us bringing Rico, but as we've joked a lot at this point, Rico has not really factored that much towards the plot, really. So, honestly, okay, I don't mean this as a slight against Rico, but it really does make it really just feel like Kislev was just that one detour that you could easily forget about in the plot. Now, mind you, it does have a purpose to the story, but its purpose to the story feels malleable enough where it feels like it could have been replaced with almost any city, or, honestly, if we had looked at one of those other cities that were involved as well.
I suppose. Anyway, let me explain also. Oh, no, I think first I need to explain, I think, this puzzle. Yeah, compared to the previous dungeon, this one actually has a bit more puzzles to it. For example, in this one, if I recall correctly, there are actually trapdoors and you need to actually fall into the correct one. Otherwise you will actually, need to restart from the room, if I recall correctly.
So would you say... oh, sorry.
No, go on.
What would you say is your favorite dungeon, if we haven't already done
Of this
it?
entire game?
Yeah.
I think, God, okay, right on the spot, I'm not sure I can tell you one. They're all technically, it's not in a sense that they are all bad. The more they're actually all serviceable. I'm not sure if I could say I have one that I would consider my favorite on the spot. I will have to think between parts, essentially.
Fair enough.
But let me explain also this. Fear not the darkness or the walls at the pit, for if you keep moving forward, the path you will find.
Oh, we're going
wrote this
Indiana
crap?
Jones on this, I see.
More than you can, actually, more than you can imagine. Let's just fall into the correct trap and you will see. There we go. Because in this next room, it will become even more apparent. If you just stand here. Now what? Huh?
Oh my god.
Yikes, the ceiling, it's falling! But essentially, this is a panic moment. All you need to do is just stand still, because we
It
have
falls
this.
around you.
I was tempted to use that clip from Emperor's New Groove where he said, it usually works out. But alas, and then you have to wait because it carries you over to the next floor. That's actually quite ingenious. And if I recall correctly, the next puzzle, basically, Dweebs, you might be familiar with the next puzzle because we are presented with the same kind of thing in Die Hard 3. You have this water container, and you need to actually regulate its level, but in the right amount, instead of actually, over exceeding or under exceeding. But
if you fail, the bomb explodes and you die.
Thankfully not. But here you go. Buttons of upside control the water level, and that's it. But let me explain this, what just happened also with the cutscene. If you remember from the previous, one of the previous parts, Kane essentially stopped the Ministry from activating what they call the Gaezia key. And now they had a conversation where they believe they cannot trust him anymore. And now suddenly, Miang and Krelian seems to be very... accosting to Ramsus and telling them that if he needs all this power, he should totally kill the Emperor. So, yeah. Again, it doesn't take too much to actually understand that something is happening, and at least Miang and Krelian are piloting things behind the scenes.
Okay, here's what's obvious. They want an Emperor that they can control.
Or at least a type of board that is more controllable.
And then there's the fact that the council are apparently Miang's children.
Again, what does that mean exactly? Trust me, it will all be properly revealed in due time.
Well, no wonder they hate Ramsus. They don't want him as a stepdad. That's why they call him trash.
But yes, I can tell you this. It will ultimately be cemented later on. But what Miang and Krelian, are saying is actually true. Krelian is someone that was created artificially, using not necessarily just a clone, but essentially using the likeness of the Emperor. So if you ever wonder what the Emperor might have looked like under his mask behind, all those years ago, because again, as Chitan said, he lived for 10,000 of years, he probably would have looked like what Ramsus looks like now.
So, I'm curious, in regards to the whole character sitting on a theater stage and telling us the story, is this something that we're basically going to have for the rest of the game, or is it more like just for a few more segments and then we'll pretty much go back to the story being told normally?
Technically speaking, for a few more segments, but after a certain point, essentially, the game will kind of caught up. Believe it or not, Jova, we will even unlock back again, eventually, the war map, and we will even have actually some side quests before finishing the game.
Really?
So, Yeah,
Okay,
I know.
okay.
I can tell you that even the Dark Kid was kind of caught by surprise when he actually got to that point, because I would agree that in a sense that the game establishes more of a tone right at the beginning of Disc 2, to the point that where it goes back again to how Disc 1 was, it kind of creates a bit of a whiplash.
I can get what you mean. Like, well, okay, it's enough of a whiplash going to this standard format here, but the fact that apparently the game goes back to being how it was in Disc 1 again.
Well,
so,
mind you, it's not gonna be completely, because there will be some caveats, but it can be explained in due time.
is it gonna be like Final Fantasy VIII, where technically you're in like ultra danger mode? So even though there's technically an overworld, it's
Well,
kind
it's
of
not
limited with what side quests you can do.
It wasn't ultra danger mode in 8 because it was more of a because of the time compression, meaning that everything around you was not, in terms of cities, was not existing. 9 also has a similar mechanic that because of story reasoning in Disc 4, a lot of locations actually are inaccessible. Yes, Dedra?
All right. This is about what's going on in the game itself right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is this music from the game, or did you edit it?
No, he mentioned that he
I told you
edited it,
beforehand. Don't worry, you can get caught up in the power. But let's get to the Anima Relic and see for who it is.
Okay, we know it. Maybe it's for Ellie.
No.
Oh my god, it's Faye's clone.
Sure.
Or maybe we'll finally see who Kim really is.
Face Kim.
Only do time, guys. Sure.
Who's whoever made this is over.
All right, let's see for whom it is. It's Rico.
Rico? Oh my god, Rico, you actually have a purpose in the story again.
So there is Anima Relic in these ruins. So ancient people worship meaningless things too, huh?
That meaningless thing being you, apparently.
So he doesn't think very highly of himself.
Who's that? What'd you say?
He
Say
said,
something I understand. Say something I understand. Who are you? Get out.
You will bet on the
are you
horse
okay?
betting of the brave future.
I don't want you seeing what's in there.
With this, Rico's gear steer gets upgraded to L steer. We will actually see how it looks like soon enough.
You
I've
broke
seen
it.
that shape somewhere before.
Now you broke it.
Wasn't that Rico? It's literally your gear. So it looks like it was your turn, Rico. Well, anyway, we'll soon see when we go outside. Also, Richard, come on, man.
And that's that.
Well,
Maybe he was whispering that to Ellie. I don't know.
We haven't fought the boss yet, Jova.
All right.
Oh,
I
right,
have...
we need a boss fight.
Yeah, we need. Whoa! What the?
That's a
It
wolf.
might not look immediately, Jova, but it's you.
Well, we gotta get a boss fight so that we can, see what Rico's new gear can do.
But who could be?
Oh my.
It's Hammer.
Hey, bro.
Oh no.
Oh.
It's been a long time no see, bro.
It's been a long time no see.
A long time no see. I've never heard that used as a noun before.
A long
Hammer,
time no see.
Is that you? What are you doing in that outfit?
It's been a long time no see. I get the feeling Richard is starting to...
I was finally able to get it. Super strength, just like you, bro.
Okay, but why is it moving like a chicken?
Shut up, bro. It feels so good being one with your gear. Krellian did this to me. Anyway, just leave that gear and Miss Ellie for me. Resistance is useless.
Hold on,
I'm
Weasel.
much too powerful for you now.
Either it's a chicken or it's drunk.
What are you saying, Hammer?
I can't hear you.
You're not handing them over? I see.
No, I just couldn't hear you.
Then I'll just have to use force and take the girl and the gear from you.
Okay,
Stop it, Hammer.
Even you, champ, won't win against me now. You've barely been relevant to the plot. I have the power of story on my side. Here I come!
Alright, this fight is interesting. You can see that Hammer's gear is kind of a bit tiny when you really get down to it. So you think, well, it doesn't really, that effective. Well, that's the entire gimmick. The more you fight, the more damage you give to him, the more Hammer's gear becomes powerful by using a move that is called Cell Modification, which you will see soon enough, which allows him to grow extra limbs, a tail, and eventually allows him to attack, in different kinds of ways.
He missed.
Yes, but don't worry, it will become more deadly as the fight goes on, including kind of towards the end. There's going to be a particular gimmick attached to that. But otherwise, for the time being, you're just encouraged to just, fighting normally. But more like towards, between the halfway point and the ending, it will become essentially kind of like a DPS check in an MMO, as in you will be forced to give as much damage as possible, because otherwise you will be in a lot of trouble, essentially. Go on, Dej.
I was just saying, hey, man, Hammer, he's finally doing something. Can't wait to see how he gets jobs.
Well, that's again. You've seen what Krelian tends to do with people who want some more power. They literally get merged with the gear they're attached to, and with horrible results. We've seen what it does with
Maria's dead.
Well, yeah, that too, actually. We have also seen what it did also with Bishop Stone, and now with Hammer too. Again, Hammer explicitly said he did not have the strings to do, much. But apparently now it did. It just at what cost. That character portrait should basically give you all the clues at just what kind of horrific state he's in at that moment.
This is like Kojo's transformation.
Yeah, okay, a bit. I can see what you're saying, but just in a more unique kind of way. I also have to warn you, because in just a bit, we're gonna get one of those particular attacks. Starting with this, a couple of bosses love to have like a machine gun type of attack, which just happens to do this. Jesus. So again, I just put an extra disclaimer, because you're never too careful. But go on, Pedro.
No, see, here's the thing, Joe. I have a theory. Probably that line that we just saw from Hammer was a mix of two other lines from the script that Richard mixed up together. It was a long time no see. Somehow got replaced with a while at some point in the script. I'm starting to think that, yeah, I can already imagine. Okay. Now I just have to translate 700 pages on my own. With no help.
This is probably the same reason why Faye in the Anima Relic room just said, it looks like Rico's gear, while Rico is right there. And in the same sentence, he also said, so it's your turn now, Rico. It was clear pretty much that Richard just localized that on not on an impulse, but basically with just one draft, and did not proof checked it, because it probably was burned out.
Not just that, Tail. Just that, Tail. He probably didn't even have time.
Wow, that was...
Again, with each self-modification, Amber becomes not necessarily faster, but it allows him to attack multiple times in a turn, allowing him to actually deal a lot of damage. This is why it's recommended that you bring someone like Billy, because at this point with his LRM Mazo, he's kind of ahead of the curve. Faye is always obligatory, but to be honest, with System Ed, you're basically good to go. And this is one last major case where Ellie's arrows are actually effective against, against an enemy, because the difficulty is about to get ramped up as well.
His team quits.
He's kicking his crotch.
Yes, she did. She literally kicked him in the crotch while he was down.
I mean, to be fair, he did kill her mom, so it's justified.
Yes, Pedro?
And, yeah.
Also, who wants to go next? Sorry.
Okay, I've forgotten exactly. Why does he want Ellie?
It's part of his orders from
Krelian. Apparently, Krelian is obsessed with Ellie. He wants her at all costs. We will actually learn in full detail, actually, why in a couple of parts. Exactly, because, again, Krelian is another person we don't know much about, except for the fact that he's kind of the mad scientist of choice, and you would expect that to be just it. It's just a psycho with, just a fetish for Ellie, but it goes a bit more than that.
Also, not for nothing, mate. But you can't exactly have Ellie if you If you destroy her mech and leave her in a twisted pile of mech,
To be fair, she's in
I-
the cockpit, so he should be fine so long as he doesn't cross that part.
And it's not even a case of, it's similar to what Ramsus did beforehand, where in a sense by these blatantly disobeying orders. It's not even a case of similar to the fight with Grupp, where he deliberately did not attack Ellie. Apparently, Ember has no promise now, probably because another, being drunk on power. Technically, but this is also another thing that I can also mention, because if I recall correctly, if it hasn't happened already, it's gonna happen soon enough. Starting with these two, one thing that can happen to anyone with a gear outside of Faye because of his system is that after reaching the level 3 attack level, potentially, a character can go potentially in hyper mode. It's a chance kind of thing. It's kind of similar to how the limit break of Final Fantasy VIII works, in a sense that unless you're in a specific state, it's more of a percentage kind of thing that can potentially happen. If it does, the character gets access to a very powerful death blow at a minimal fuel cost that you can just spend for a couple of turns, but it has a fixed duration of like 3 turns. 6 if you're holding the Holy Pendant, because again, the Holy Pendant was not programmed with restriction towards gears, so it counts hyper mode as a beneficial buff, so it extends that also to double its normal time.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, go on.
His entire team quit, and Richard is just like, this is fine.
No, it's not.
This is fine.
Someone give him a hug and a hot chocolate.
This is fine. This is fine.
Okay,
I've got a really bad feeling.
when Hammer does this
I'll go
and
get
starts
the
growing, this is where you're supposed to actually go all out. If you don't, he's gonna self-destruct accidentally, mind you. It's not a thing that he wants. It's unfortunately a little thing that Krelian put just to be safe. It's not gonna be enough to kill you, technically speaking. Sure, it still gives you a bit of damage, but it's not really as dickish as Bishop Stone last attack. But it's important because you will not get any experience from the thing, from the entire fight, and Hammer will not drop the item that normally will drop if you defeat it normally. It's not plot critical, but it's very encouraged that you can try to get it, because it's, I forgot exactly what it's called, like a key card or something, like a name-wise it doesn't really matter. What it does matter, because it actually guarantees that enemies will drop the most rare valuable loot after you defeat them, which is actually very useful for the late game when you want to actually farm some particular items.
And you can only get it from this boss.
Yeah, it's not really pivotal because the drop rate is already decently enough in your favor. This is not a Final Fantasy 12 case where you need to build up the percentage, but this is essentially a good reward that incentivizes you to finish the fight properly. There you go. For example, now Ellie's in hyper mode with that particular attack, Blue Blast.
Come on. That'll do.
Not yet. I think it's Faye actually gonna give the finishing job.
Right in the crotch several times.
There we go. Got him.
Quit.
Booyah.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Ooh, Billy learned
The
fire
trader card,
shield.
that's what it's called. There you go.
That's my bro. Far too strong.
I'm not your bro.
Even for me. Just when I thought I finally got powerful enough to beat you two. Champ, promise me you'll go back to Northern one day. You are the next in line to be the Kaiser.
You knew?
And remember, too, don't underestimate the power of my information network. But it's no use now. For a bit player like me, this is probably the end I deserve.
Meta.
Hammer!
Stop! Hammer time!
No, it's no longer
Good job,
hammer
Faye.
time.
You put the hammer down. I'm sorry.
Stop hammering it in, will you?
Hammer disappeared into the chasm with a look of satisfaction. Was he happy because he had been able to attain it? His brief moment of power. Hammer smile. Was that the look of joy from attaining power? Or was it the look of relief from the pain that was brought upon him by his mutation?
Yes.
Ultimately, we had no other choice but to defeat our friend, Hammer, for the sake of our own survival. Was there any other way around it? Never felt that fighting was so futile until now.
Kind of a shame that he doesn't have a heart-to-heart with Ellie before dying, given, you know...
Ellie cried continuously. She hated herself for not having the power to be able to do anything to help him. When I saw her like that, I couldn't help but thinking, I can no longer allow her to fight like this. We returned to Ignis, feeling that this had become much more than we could bear.
So time to retire?
That's what's gonna be discussed in the next part, so we'll see you actually for that. But beforehand, the artworks of the day. One is the concept art for Rico's Hammer's gear. Again, it's very interesting how we managed to pull it off. Just give me a second, don't worry, I'm editing this in post. And the other.
Nice.
And the other is the one for Elsteer, the upgraded version of Rico's gear. Again, we will be able to see him soon enough because, like I said, I'm going to give a fighting chance to all characters before the end.
There is a ton of concept art on this game.
Anyway, tuning in for the next part where Faye will have to discuss potentially with Ellie about, what she wants to do now that she's been looked upon by so many people. See ya.
See ya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.